Hey everybody, this is Josh with Patriot Valley Arms. We're at SHOT Show 2019, and one of the other projects that we're known for is not just a Patriot Valley Arms project. It's a set of bullets that I designed called the Flatlines. They're made by Warner Tool Company in New Hampshire, and they're turned solid. They're monolithic copper. They're extremely high BC projectiles. Here's a show sample, so it's got some laser marks on it. But what we did is I went through and designed it so that we maximize the BC. We have a very easy loading capability. It's got some pilot bands, some features in the driving bands that you notice that it's very sleek. The finish on the projectiles is better than anything else in the market right now. The tolerances that we're holding, a lot of in gun industry we'll talk about, oh, they're holding 1,000, they're holding 2,000, they're holding half 1,000. Millions are below tenths of 1,000. So in the box there's 50 pieces, and our mantra is 50 pieces, 50 millions. So if you measure any of the features on the projectile, they're that tight. If you're going to go through and you see Bentress folks, they're working on weighing bullets to try and get the best consistency they possibly can downrange. It's kind of pointless unless you've got a 3 decimal place balance. You're not going to be able to see any variation in these guys. But we have everything from a 88 grain 6mm down here. We got a couple of 6.5s. There's a 121. We have a new 123. The 121 was optimized for magazine feeding and maximum ballistic coefficient, but it was very finicky at the loading bench. So we went back, we made a 123 grainer. We lose a little bit of BC, about 3%, but it's extremely forgiving. We were shooting it this weekend, no load development out in the desert, and we were holding sub-half MOA at 1,600 yards with a 6.5 Creedmoor. 7mm, several variations of 30 caliber. My personal favorite is the 198 grainer. It has a BC higher than any 338 grain, 300 grain projectile on the market. So what that gives me is I'm shooting it just as fast out of a 308 as 338 Lapua Magnum shoots a 300 grain bullet. So I've got the same speed and more ballistic coefficient. It's flatter and straighter and easier to hit without a mile than a 338 Lapua, and that's a 308 Winchester. Put in a 300 Win Mag, you have a over 2,000 yard cartridge, and in a 300 Norma, it's a monster. There's just nothing that catches up with it. We have had the 256 grain 338 for a while. That BC is 10% higher than the next closest 300 grain conventional projectile. So we're shooting that out of a Lapua Mag about 350 feet per second faster than a 300 grainer, and we're doing it with 10% more BC. So what we've done is we've largely extended the effective range of small caliber rifles, small arms rifles, by somewhere between 25 and 45% depending on the caliber. What I was saying before, that 308 is supersonic to 1,900 yards at sea level. And then the new bullets this year, we talked about the 123. I mentioned that we brought out some 338s. We have a new 338 bullet. This has a BC. Average G1 is nearly 1. So now you have a 338 Lapua Mag that performs like 375 Shaytacs have for the last few years. That's not to stop there. We have 375s. We have new 408s. We have a 416 bullet. We do all of our ballistic coefficient measurements. They're done acoustically just to get rough numbers, and then we take them out to New Mexico and shoot them at the Energetic Materials Research Center on Doppler radar. We track them until the Doppler either loses the reflection off the tail or 3,000 meters. We got 3,000 meters out there to work with. With the 416 bullet, which is this one, it was launched at 3,200 feet per second, and when it crossed 3,000 meters and the radar could no longer see it, it was still well in excess of 1,700 feet per second. So what we've done here is taken a 416 Barrett, and instead of being effective between 2,500 and 2,800 yards, it is still supersonic past 4,000 yards. So they bring a lot of punch to the table. You really don't need special twist rate. With a couple of exceptions, but you don't need special twist rate. You don't need special barrels, special throats. Interchangeability is right there. So when you need them, you shoot them. When you don't, you shoot the regular stuff. You can find these at warner-tool.com, or you just go into Google and put Flatline bullets, and they come right up.